Hi, Upper Room. We're already halfway through the month of November. Time is flying. Last week, when it was time to record the first Upper Room video in November, the trees outside the church were just starting to change color. This week, they're in a full bloom in a glorious yellow. With the changing of the leaves, we're mindful of the changing of seasons. In the Midwest, where I grew up, the seasons were very pronounced. If you were still wearing summer shorts and tank tops and flip-flops in December, you're going to be taken to the hospital. It's wise to recognize the changing of the seasons. And it's wise to be able to discern what season you're currently in. God designed life to be full of change. God broke up our lifespans into different seasons. In Ecclesiastes, Solomon wrote about that. He said, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. I think one of the secrets to life is being able to recognize what season you're in and then respond accordingly. Part of surrender is accepting the reality of your season. If you're 56 years old and you want to still play sports the way you did when you were 26 years old, you're setting yourself up for a wickedly pulled hammy or worse. There was a season in life when I would go out for runs. I've never really loved running, but I liked running in my 30s. Now that I'm in my mid-40s, I'm loving walking. I'm in a different season, and I'm okay with it. In my journey group last year, one of our members who's coming to grips with aging said something so beautiful. He said, God gave me some wonderful gifts, and now as I get older, I'm giving them back one at a time. This person loved to fly airplanes solo, but his health and his age made it a risk for him to fly alone. So he had to give that up. He was a bodybuilder, but now that hobby had to be greatly modified. He had some great seasons flying airplanes and lifting large amounts of weight. He's thankful, and now he's trying to give those gifts back to God as gracefully as he can. It's one of the most beautiful things I heard all year. I'm cheating on the Gospel of Luke. I'm reading the Gospel of Mark right now with my D group. Mark starts with the ministry of John the Baptist. Johnny B turned his little part of the world upside down. He had such an important job and faithfully ministered during an important season. But when it came time for his season to come to an end, this is what he said. He said, Jesus must increase. I must decrease. He was saying, my season is wrapping up. It's time for Jesus to take center stage. He knew what season he was in. It's interesting, Jesus comes on the scene in Mark, and the first thing he says is, the time has come. It's time. The Chicago Bulls of the late 90s were one of the greatest teams of all time in any sport. They would huddle just moments before the game would start, and someone would cry out, what time is it? And the whole team would yell, game time. All week long, there was practice time, recovery time, personal time, family time. And the Bulls were trying corporately to make the shift into the most intense moment of their week. It was like they were recognizing where they were, and they were switching into game mode. We got to recognize what season we're in and then respond appropriately. My mom has spent the last 10 years caring for my dad in his Alzheimer's journey. She's been successful because she recognized this is my season to provide self-sacrificing care for my husband. Parents with a newborn have to recognize, look, I can't do all the things I used to do because my spouse and this baby need me around. I have a friend starting chemo. This isn't the season they wanted to be in, but this is the season they're in. It's a season to fight. When you surrender to that, you get a lot of strength. What season are you in? Have you paused long enough to take stock? What season may be right around the corner? Anything you need to do now to be ready? Here's the million-dollar question for today, and it's actually fill in the blank. In this season of my life, God is calling me to fill in the blank. Based on the season you're in, what's God calling you to do? I have dreams of the future, and sometimes I daydream about retirement when life will hopefully be a little easier. But that's not my season. In this busy season, in this current moment, God is calling me to invest in my teenagers and continue to be diligent as the lead pastor of Journey Church. I think we can waste time when we're in heavy seasons dreaming of easier ones. Just because a season is challenging doesn't mean it's not good. We waste our lives when we miss the current moment. When I accept the season, when I surrender to this moment that God has me in, I can be thankful and I can be fruitful. In this season of life, God is calling me to fill in the blank. Believe it or not, God has us right where He wants us. Figure out what season you're in and respond accordingly. Have a great week.